Alright, the Xbox E3 show just ended, so I am back with another reaction video to kind of go along with the Ubisoft's and the Summer Games one I've already done. In this case, I don't have to be super negative like I was yesterday with Ubisoft because I think this was genuinely a very good show for Xbox. We knew that they would come out probably pretty strong as, you know, they're kind of the biggest show of E3 these days, and with all their first-party studios now, they have a lot more to show than they used to because all Xbox conferences were pretty much just waiting around for new Halo, Gears, and Forza announcements for a very long time. But now they are running this with Bethesda, which is still weird to kind of process it. And like the show opened with Todd Howard, which is just very bizarre to see. But like Bethesda comes with so many IPs of its own that they're like 60-70% of like known Xbox IPs now, kind of, if you go through all of the series they have, which is crazy. And there's like 30 Bethesda games on Game Pass now, and Game Pass in general was obviously a huge focus of the show. I'm not going to go through everything they featured because there was a lot, and some stuff I don't really care about that much. Some of the more minor stuff, but I will obviously touch on the big highlights. Right before the show, the Starfield trailer leaked and the release date, but it was the opener, it wasn't their closer or anything, so that was good. In what was a pretty good show, I was kind of underwhelmed with Starfield just because, like, it's a cinematic trailer. Oh, hello, Evie. It's a cinematic trailer, and like I find it hard to put a lot of stock in cinematic trailers for games that are so far away, because we have been burned just too many times with gameplay that is not really representative of the final product, even if these, you know, even if it's in engine or whatever they want to call it. And then just the substance of it was not really anything that interesting either. It's just like a person getting into a spaceship and then being about to take off. And I think we learned just a tiny bit about like you're part of a group called the Constellation, and they like explore planets and stuff, and like they showed a gun, so like they're shooting and stuff, and it's some sort of, you know, RPG and probably somewhat traditional Bethesda style, and yet, man, they really did not show very much there, and I don't know, it's kind of hard to be impressed with that when it's just a cinematic and just really no information. The release date is next November, as in 2022 November, so that means it is not debuting this holiday, but obviously Xbox has some other big games coming this holiday, so it probably makes sense to spread these out anyway. I hope you see more from it soon, because that just, I don't know, that really didn't do it for me. Moving on, sorry, I have the live stream thread here. I missed the Stalker 2 stuff because I was writing my Starfield article as that was going on. Xbox landed Back for Blood, the essentially Left 4 Dead 3 from the same studio, as a day one Game Pass thing. There weren't like any like crazy major Game Pass announcements. They were just a lot of them. And like I think they said by the end, like the 27 out of the 30 games they showcased were coming to Game Pass. There is a new game from Avalanche, which is the Just Cause people, called Contraband. Again, another cinematic trailer that showed pretty much nothing. Some sort of co-op open world, maybe like heist smuggling game. I don't really understand. If it's the Just Cause people, I assume you'll kind of be racing around in planes and cars and stuff, and maybe try to smuggle things from point A to point B, but we didn't really get a whole lot to go on there. I don't really play Sea of Thieves, and yet I was certainly perked up when I saw Jack Sparrow coming to a Sea of Thieves expansion along with Davy Jones, and well, I don't really know what to make of that. I mean, it certainly seems to fit kind of the mood and tone of Sea of Thieves, and I guess they're making a bunch more Pirates of the Caribbean movies in the future, but all the people I know that do like Sea of Thieves seem to be really excited about this, so congrats to them. That's cool. I have yet to get into the series because I kind of bounced off it at first. We got a extended look at Battlefield 2042 gameplay. This doesn't really have anything to do with Xbox. I do not think this is an Xbox Day 1 exclusive unless I really missed that. That would be a huge announcement, but I don't think that's happening. EA has their own like subscription thing that is like kind of integrated into Game Pass, so it's, I don't know, maybe it's part of that. The gameplay footage looked awesome. I'm not really a Battlefield guy these days. I played I played Battlefield 3 and 4 maybe back in the day for a bit, but I haven't for a while. This looks really good, really intense. You know, next gen is kind of serving the series well. It's kind of built for things like this. They have giant dust tornadoes and things. And even if it's kind of like what you might come to expect from Battlefield right now, it does look really good. I think it probably is a good idea they don't have a campaign and they don't have a battle royale. I think they're really trying to just dig in to focus on why people really love the series, and that allows them to put more work into that as opposed to building like a 5-hour campaign or managing a battle royale mode indefinitely. So 12 minutes still looks good. Really interesting. I didn't know that was Daisy Ridley in there doing an American accent. Psychonauts 2, I have not played Psychonauts 1. I know that's like blasphemy, but I don't know. I just never got around to it. Fallout 76 is getting a Pittsburgh expansion. That's kind of cool. This is a game that I actually went back to once they added all the NPCs and played it for a while. And then, I don't know, like it definitely was much improved from launch. Like launch was just abysmal, but they really have kind of done enough things to improve it at this point. They changed something after I left too, where they made like hunger and thirst like really no longer a thing, so you weren't always like starving to death or getting your stats reduced and stuff, which was really annoying. So they changed that too. So I don't know, maybe when they have a big expansion and there's nothing else going on, I might go back to that. This game looks really dated now though. Like the old Bethesda engine is just creaking and these character models look rough. Hades is coming to Game Pass. That's kind of a big deal. Game of the Year contender and an awesome game that everybody should play when it goes to Game Pass. What else? Okay, so now we arrive at the big Halo Infinite showcase, which is Microsoft's attempted redemption at their very failed showing of Xbox Infinite last year, which caused it to be delayed because everyone thought it wasn't ready and didn't look good. It looks great now. I was going in skeptical, but it's hard to deny that what they showed today, to at least a certain extent, looks really good. They didn't spend like a ton of time in the open world. Like they just sort of did like a quick flyby over it. But I mean, even that looked better than the original one. They had some story stuff where Joe Staten introduced this like clip with Mass Effect, Master Chief, and an AI that is like kind of looks like Cortana, but is not Cortana, and is clearly not voiced by Cortana. Talking about how he was supposed to delete Cortana or something. So I don't know what's going on there. It was kind of a scripted sequence where he flies through space. It looked good, and then they shut off the multiplayer, which looks really good. I was just a well put together sequence. Whatever graphical overhaul they've done with this entire game it really does seem like it has paid off, and there's really nothing to make fun of anymore. It looks really good. We also got the announcement that no, it's not getting delayed again. It will be out in time for holiday 2021, even though there was not a specific date somehow, even though Starfield somehow is a specific date. And it is not splitting the free multiplayer and the campaign. Those appear to be both be coming out at the same time. So some people said like, multiplayer might come out first and they'll do the campaign later. That does not seem to be happening, and they do seem to kind of use this extra year to get everything all together and make sure it is ready to go. Which is good news, and obviously I expect this to be a very big hit. I'm not like a huge 343 Halo person. Like I haven't loved these past games, but obviously I'm gonna play this one, and hopefully it is improved from the other ones and does well for them, which it probably will. Diablo 2 actually, Diablo 2 Resurrected got a release date during this show, which is pretty interesting. That's coming in September, which I was not obviously expecting this to show up during the show here. And then we got some more, we got Far Cry 6 gameplay footage, which seems like that probably should have just been in the Ubisoft show, because the Ubisoft show was like pretty bad otherwise. And I keep saying Fallout. The Far Cry footage they did show was like a cutscene and like a tease of their post-launch plans, and like it just would have been good to have gameplay footage. I don't know. Not that this was like anything super miraculous or groundbreaking or anything, but it was something. And I don't know. I'm kind of between. Far Cry 6 has now appeared in Summer Games Fest, the Ubisoft show, and the Xbox show. So like, okay, I'm good. We got it now. It's fine. No more. A game that stood out to me is Atomic Heart. This looked like some weird BioShock Fallout combination thing. Like, I assume it doesn't have some like huge massive budget or anything, but it really had a kind of a unique style to it. So that's a day one Game Pass launch. I don't really know anything else about it, but it looked interesting. That caught my eye. Also, eye-catching was Replaced, which is one of the best, like at least looking, like visual-wise, games I've seen all weekend. It's like got some crazy kind of pixel art style that I've like never seen before. And like everyone I saw in my timeline was just like really blown away by that. And that is coming in 2022. I don't care about Grounded. I don't care about Among Us. I know some people are really excited for this Suikoden but not game that's coming out. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Sorry. New Age of Empires 4 is coming in October. I have not played that series in a very long time, but that seems like that could be fun. And then we had literally probably one of my favorite game trailers I've ever seen. Not because it was so visually spectacular or anything, but it was like, it was the Outer Worlds 2 trailer where it's like a parody of game trailers where they don't really have anything to show, and the narrator voiceover the whole time is going over that, and like it's just hilarious. Like you need to go watch it. It's definitely my favorite trailer of the show so far. Microsoft Flight Simulator, whatever. Okay. Forza Horizon almost closed the show. They did a really extensive segment on this, and it's hard not to be impressed by this. It looks just spectacular. I mean, obviously, it's always like the car games that look the best when we're showing off like new gen graphics and stuff, but like every time it happens, like, you know, whether it's Gran Turismo or Forza or whatever, it's always just deeply impressive. Horizon is like the big kind of most eye-catching series that they have going on, and this looks fantastic. This is also going to be a fall release for them, which is very good news for Xbox to have both Forza and Halo coming in the same window. That is a big deal for them, especially when last fall they had pretty much nothing to launch the Series X with, and this is obviously a game that is going to look really good on Series X in particular. And I'm gonna play it. I only periodically play Forza games, but like this sold me on it for sure. This looks really great, and I'm looking forward to trying it out. And then Phil finally did show up at the very end here to do a closer for a new Arcane game that looks interesting, I guess. I don't really understand what type of game it is. So it's called Redfall. It showcases like 4 kind of preset characters that it looks kind of like hero shooty, where like each character has their own sort of kits. Like there's like an invisible guy, there's a girl who can have purple anti-grav things. One girl had a freeze gun, another guy has a stake gun to kill vampires. The animation style is interesting. Like it's not really realistic. It's like still kind of cartoony, and the vampires are really cartoony with their like really long arms and stuff. But again, this is just sort of a cinematic trailer, and I don't quite know what type of game this is going to be like. With Arcane, you would assume it will be first person, but like I don't know if this is like Borderlands. Like they said it's open world, I think. So if this is like Borderlands with 4 classes and you can get a bunch of different weapons, this is like borderline a loot shooter with vampires, or if this is something more like a survival game where like Left 4 Dead, where you have like your 4 main characters and you survive against hordes of vampires. They weren't really very specific about it, and I don't know, I was kind of mixed. Like this wasn't like something that immediately was like, oh yeah, amazing. I think I need to know more about it to know whether it's going to interest me or not. I am happy that it's about vampires and not about zombies, because too many zombie games now, and it's zombie overload. And that was their big closer. It was an unannounced game that didn't leak, so that's good. Phil specifically ran on the list of like, yeah, we're still making Fable and Perfect Dark and Avowed and all these other games, but those clearly were not ready to be shown yet. And if it was just going to be more cinematics, like I don't even care really. Like I'm fine waiting for more information on those as time goes on. But all in all, I thought this was a very impressive show. I mean, granted, yesterday set a pretty low bar, but this was a kind of well-orchestrated digital event from Microsoft, and we are getting to the point now where their first-party games are coming to life in the next couple of months here. Like, you know, before the end of the year, we'll have both Halo Infinite and Forza 5, so that's a big deal. And I know there's a longer wait for some of these other games, but within the next year, that's Starfield, and it's you can see the ball kind of getting rolling now. Where, yeah, they didn't really have any exclusives this launch year, but you know, things are starting to pan out now, and you really can, between this and Game Pass and all their streaming plans and everything they're doing there, like you can see the kind of picture taking shape in terms of their kind of grand recovery from the last generation where they were kind of mercilessly beaten by Sony. Not that they're going to like outsell the PS5 or anything, but what they're building here is very significant and important. And it does seem like they're soon going to have kind of the first party roster to maybe not match Sony, but at least compete with it. So that's where I think we are. The Square Enix show starts in like 30 minutes, I think. I think I can watch that whole show. I may or may not do a reaction video to that. I have seen one significant reveal from that already under embargo, so I have thoughts on that. But I will obviously talk about that later and not now, so I don't get in trouble. But all right, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys soon.